Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed, myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
As a ghost in the system today, and it's right for a Friday. We were having a couple technical difficulties already today, but that's okay. It's going to be a great show. Welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. Today is more of a human interest story. Of course, being superhuman means you have to be multifaceted. And we're going to be talking today. You know, a lot of people are waiting for something to be happy. I'm guilty of this too. Maybe if you're into physical culture, it's, you know, a certain amount of weight you want to move. Or maybe if you are competitive, a physique athlete, you know, it's a certain way that you look. In some of the dire cases, you may just be waiting for your life to get better. And that's going to be the trigger for you to become happy. But we're going to talk to a guy today who was really in a bad way 20 years ago when he made the decision to not only seek happiness and exude happiness, but literally become a happiness warrior. His sole mission became to make sure other people understood they had the control that they needed on their happiness. Before we get started with today's show, of course, we have to thank our title sponsor, and that's Legendary Foods. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary. Use code SHR10 to save 10% off. Their tasty pastry, they can't keep them in stock because people have fallen in love with them. They were supposed to be originally an alternative to a Pop-Tart. They've become so much more. The new cake style is fluffy and flaky, has 20 grams of high-quality protein, less than 1 gram of sugar, 5, 4, 3, 2 net carbs, depending on the flavor you get. They're amazing. Check them out. shrnetwork.biz/legendary, code SHR10. Now, every day we give away a few boxes of tasty pastries. So your odds are good to win a box of tasty pastries. Here's how it works. Listen during the commercial break for the secret word. When you hear the secret word, email it to onair@superhumanradio.net. Please include your mailing address because that's how we'll send them to you. And you could win one of several boxes of tasty pastries we'll be giving away just today. So don't waste any time. Check them out. And, of course, show them some love. Now I'll bring my guest on here. Hold on a second.
Hey.
Get all my gears firing here. Eric North, how are you?
Hey, Carl. It's great to be here and great to meet you.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Your story is really, really impressive. And, you know, we are amidst a period of time that we've never had in the history of this country where depression, suicide, through the roof at the tail end of COVID. So before we start giving people positive messages, let's talk about your life. 20 years ago, 2002, right around Easter time. Talk about where you were at that point in your life.
I was at a point where I had just I sort of, under circumstances there were some, I was in control, but I lost control of my circumstances under an abusive relationship. And I was at a point where we were basically going from hotel room to friend's sofa to hotel room, and for about 6 months, and it was just really, 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 it was really, really hard. He was a very hard drinking alcoholic and a cocaine user, so he would do both together. And if he did one on its own, he was even more of a nightmare. And he would get he was very physically violent and sort of violent in public sometimes too. So he was kind of a bad guy, but he wasn't like that when we started. You know how it happens. But I don't know, it's a point where I was like, I was trying to keep it all together, and it just wasn't working anymore. And I would go to sleep, and I think, well, would it be easier if I just didn't wake up? If I didn't wake up tomorrow? And then we had one incident. It was like the Friday before Easter, where he. We were at the end. I mean, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I knew it was done. I knew I had to get out of there somehow, and I really didn't have anywhere to go, and I really wasn't sure what to do. But I knew it was time I was going to die if I didn't, or die or go to jail or something if I stayed. And that was not who I was. And he got really, 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 really drunk, and he had even a more insane look in his face and his eyes. And then he just started going very, I don't want to get into all the details. It was a very violent episode, and I was lucky that I remember thinking to myself, this is not how I want to die. I have to get out of this situation. And even today, I watch a lot of stuff. I do a lot of like warriors on TV and how they get out of situations, or like, like a show where somebody's really like fighting a really hard enemy, and they escape. I love shows like that. That was me. And when it was over and I was done, and we were completely done, it was time to. I was depressed. I had a lot of things going on. I'd never been depressed in my life, but I thought maybe I have depression. So I started learning and figuring out, okay, how do I fix myself again? How do I fix myself? I think mainly it was about time and starting to take care of my body again and take care of myself again. That really made a big difference. But I realized I wasn't addicted to drugs. I wasn't an alcoholic. I wasn't clinically depressed. I was situationally depressed. But I was pulling myself out of it. And I remember there was a point where I was just like, something hit me. I listened to I lost touch with my intuition, and then one day it just sort of hit me that I was going to have it's just like when I was a kid. I would say to myself, I had a hard time growing up, and I'd say to myself, I'm going to have a really amazing life when I'm an adult. And I said, this is going to be my time to have a really amazing life. And since then, it's been incredible. It's been magical, and I can say that now. I used to be kind of afraid to say, or fear of judgment was saying I have a magical life, but I have a magical life now, and it has been that way for many years.
Okay, I need to back you up because there's a lot of content here that I need to cover.
Okay.
I have to give my audience this perspective for a second.
All right.
A lot of people hear stories about people who escape bad relationship, violent, physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, which you were, and that was all of it. You had the
all of it, right.
But a lot of people don't understand. It doesn't just take the courage to pick up and leave, but most people in your situation really don't have the wherewithal to leave, and that's why they're stuck there. They can't see.
Right.
I'm broke. How do I go? Where do I go? How do I do this? So you were broke, right? You barely had enough money to last.
We were broke. We had a dog that I tried to protect and take care of every day, which was hard enough to take care of myself, but I took care of her every day. And I was in a situation where everything was just so fragile, and I felt like I felt powerless at the time, and I had a really good career up to this point, but when you're in an abusive relationship, and you can see this in a lot of relationships too, there's a control factor, and there's a control factor to remove everything that you know in your life. So they remove your family, they start moving your friends, and they start isolating you. An abusive relationship is usually a period of isolation, so you usually feel very alone. And that's where I was, and I felt very alone, and I felt it was day-to-day living. It was trying to stay alive.
But hadn't you thought about leaving previously? I mean, I know this day was like cataclysmic, the violence.
Of course it was. There was a lot of things leading up to this. There was a lot of incidents leading up to this too. This is almost a 10-year relationship, And there were some good times in the beginning too. There were some good times.
Those are the ones that keep you wishing.
And it was exciting. And I had gone through it in my own life. There was a lot of abuse that I didn't know about at the time. I wasn't really aware of, but just how I grew up, and it was sort of the same pattern. I was seeing my parents fight all the time, and have a very just even my siblings too. They have the same kind of issues in their relationships too, where they're only used to seeing a lot of discord and a lot of fighting, and then getting back together again. It was up and down, but a lot of anger and a lot of hiding, lying, hiding who you are, and that. I almost I did fall into that trap for a long time, for many years. It was kind of unavoidable, but then it just took a period of where I had to have some self-awareness. I had to have some honesty with myself. And when you're in a relationship like that, you're not honest with yourself. You don't have any self-awareness. You're trying to protect yourself. And anyone can be in an abusive relationship, male or female, it doesn't matter. It can be anything at all. But they're so destructive to your self-confidence too. So.
And this is why it's important for those of us who have friends that all of a sudden you go, man, I haven't heard from so-and-so forever. Call them, because what you described, the reason that we become isolated is twofold, right? The person that's manipulating us needs us to be isolated so they can maintain power, because they know if you start talking to sensible people, they're going to be like, get away from them, get away from them. But the other thing is, when you're deep in that hole, you don't want to talk to anybody, because you don't want them to give you even this much reality, because then you got to do something. So it's easier to live.
Well, it's also, I think our culture is shame-based, and it's a shame-based culture. It comes from the Puritans. My family comes back from 400 years from the Puritans. And it's that same type of culture. Shame and control. Shame is a way of controlling. The abusers use shame. And then shame keeps the abusee from getting help and from reaching out, and it creates a lot of internal problems, internal discord, sadness, depression, and just sort of a lack of will.
Now, also, optimism is a double-edged sword, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a hyper optimist, and I always have been.
Me too.
But optimists can be lulled into staying in a crappy situation because they believe tomorrow it's going to change. They look at the one thing this person did, or the one characteristic this person has, and they focus on that with all their optimism and say, someday they're going to wake up and realize that I'm worthy of their love, because look at all the crap I've put up with. That's optimism used in the wrong way, wouldn't you say?
Well, yes, it's the same thing as being a too much positivity. Okay, we need too much positivity. You ignore things. It puts off the reality sometimes. So I think it's very important to consider those factors.
And we will get to everybody's questions. I have a friend that's listening to the show that needs to hear this show, actually.
Great.
Okay, so you left broke. Where did you go? Where did you go?
I reunited with my family, and it was I was so ashamed to face my family, because up to then I had been a high achiever. I'd always done the right thing. I'd always done well in my career, and all of a sudden I let myself down. But it was really important to me that one of the shame factor was letting my family down, and I had and we create a bigger picture in our heads. We create more and more and more. Right. It adds up. So. It was the point where I was so ashamed that it was like, so it just kind of, it was like popping a balloon. I called my mother. She was, I think we almost have an intuitive, back to if you're checking in on someone, if someone goes through your mind that you care about, there's usually a reason that they're going through your mind. And that is really, I always know when a good friend is going to call me. I always kind of, I figure that out. So let's just go back to that too. Intuition is so important. But when I called my mom, it was almost like she was expecting me to call, and everything just sort of fell into place. And then it was Easter, and I was home for the weekend. My grandparents were still alive at that point, and they lived nearby. So everyone, and my grandmother was always I was always her favorite, and it just kind of killed me that I was back with my family again. I felt so good. I felt like this is where I belong, and now I can start rebuilding my life. But I can start being grateful for them. I can be grateful for myself, and then I have to go through this process. And I wasn't really sure. This is stuff I know now. I didn't know then. Process of forgiving myself.
Talk about that, because that's a very esoteric term that I don't think people really get. When you talk about forgiving yourself, you first have to admit. That's the hard part is going, man, I just wasted 10 years. Why did I, you got to kind of go through that.
Well, you got to go through that. And then I think to myself, was it a waste of 10 years though? Because, well, yes, I could have been putting a lot of money in my bank account and saving for retirement and all that stuff. But in those 10 years, I got a lesson in life that it's like my foundation is so solid now, okay? Because I'm building it stronger, and as I get older and as I age, and my foundation is stronger, my wisdom is stronger, my intuition is stronger. All of these things taught me something too. And I saw some terrible things, I saw some terrible things. I saw some great things. So, forgiving yourself is looking back and honestly thinking, did you cause harm? Did you hurt someone? And then thinking about, I don't ever want to do that again to anyone. I don't ever want to hurt someone. I don't ever want to cause that action, take that action that caused that in the past. So that's how you forgive yourself. You can, saying sorry to someone it only matters so much. It's really your actions that matter. So to me, it came down to, I was not wired to be with this human. This is not someone I was supposed to be with. This was a toxic relationship in my life for 10 years that hurt me, shaped me, it guided me. I don't think I'd be the happiness warrior now without that experience. And what we're now has become such an it's growing to such an amazing thing right now, being the happiness warrior. It's spreading. It's going places, I should say.
So people love to say, and I'm not saying it's a lie, but people like to say the words, maybe not live the words. Happiness is a choice. And it really is at the end of the day, because there are a lot of miserable people out there who have everything that you and I think is what it takes to be happy. Right. And then there are people who have very, very little in life. Do you think that part of the reason that you can be the happiness warrior that you are now, that you can feel blessed with small things, little things, is because you were in that abyss for so long? Yes.
I think, of course I like nice things. Everyone likes nice things. We all like things like that, but they don't really matter. Right now, my happiness is really the life that I've created, the friendships that I have, the deep quality friendships, the kind that you're unshakable, and just the belief in myself that came from all that time. So those are valuable things. Those are things of value.
Give the audience an example of a simple thing that you find great pleasure in that most people would be like, why is he so excited about that?
I have a morning routine. Okay, it's the same thing every day. It's what I do every day, and it sets me up with such pleasure. First of all, first thing I do in the morning. This is how I started in the morning. First thing I do is when I open my eyes, I'll look over and see where my pit bull is. She's usually somewhere nearby, and I'll say, "It's going to be a great day, Olive," and I'll say, "It's going to be a great day, Eric," and I'll say my name. It sound like a kid, but what that does is it sets me up for, okay, now I'm happy to get out of bed. It is going to be a great day. It always is a great day when you tell yourself it's going to be a great day. As simple as that sounds, that if you want to do one thing, unhappy people and angry people, they really are looking for a lifeline sometimes. They're looking for, hey, I can't unscrew myself. I'm all messed up. But maybe just they see that one thing that can make that difference to set something else much greater in motion. So you can start saying to yourself, it's going to be a great day, Eric. It's going to be a great day, Carl. You can just say that, and then it becomes, you manifest your day. You manifest your reality. So I start that, and then I'm in a great mood. I get down and I start the coffee, but I don't drink coffee for like an hour. I think it's not good to start right away with coffee. And I have a couple glasses of water and a couple supplements that I take, and then I go into my dining room is now my gym. Okay, so my dining room is turned into a gym. I have everything in there, a big mat, and I do at 5:30. I do my stretching. And I do 100 push-ups every day, no matter what. I do a stretching routine. Then I have a few minutes of breathing, gratitude, and then I'm ready to go. I feel great. And that's kind of a happy, simple thing. I can do it anywhere. Okay. And that is one of the things that is, I think people think, why does he do 100 push-ups every morning? Because I want to feel good. I want to activating your body activates your brain. Hydration activates your body. And having the mind-body connection is how we learn to be happy. When your body feels good and your mind understands how to control everything, you're more in control of your life and you have more freedom.
How big of a mistake is it to start your morning with social media?
Big. And this is the thing.
Right?
The last 4 years, I have been so like, I have times when I just can't help myself, and I tell myself, and I know I'm doing this, and I say to myself, this is after my beautiful morning, my affirmation and my activation and hydration. I start doing that. I'm like, no. So now I've been reading the last few months. Decide I'm going to my next phase of my life now. My career's changing. I want to make sure that my brain is much cleaner now. So read something like a business book or motivational book, or even something pleasurable is good too. Just fiction is good. So just for go for a dog walk.
I believe that social media causes a lot more depression and dissatisfaction with people's lives.
It creates anger. It creates so much anger. And I look at just the fractures of friendships and families because someone puts up a meme that's really nasty that they don't even realize sometimes half the time people don't even realize what they're doing. I think they just post something. It's reactionary, and it's reactionary internet stuff. When you have internet friends, you meet someone you like and you're emailing them and you're talking to them, until you actually have a real physical insight friendship, you have to really think about it. I've had a lot of, the internet was like, wow, it's the Wild Wild West when it first started. Facebook, I thought everyone was my friend. So.
Right. But the other side of the problem is that for instance, one of the things that frustrates me are the motivational quotes. And the reason is motivation is something from within.
Right.
I'm still waiting for Elon Musk to do an interview where he talks about the beginning of his journey and going, well, I woke up one morning and I read this meme. And that was, nobody successful is looking for motivation on the internet. And if you need that constant perk and tweet, then you are going to be just as easily derailed from your mission as you are engaged by the mission that's being fed to you. What do you think?
Well, you're never going to get anywhere. Your momentum is never going to start picking up because you're going to be relying on others' input for your own thinking. You need to thinking for yourself and trusting yourself and trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, and being secure that what we know is more important than, I've got to read this guy's thing, this meme. Okay.
Well, my father had a saying, and it really is true today when we look at social media. So, people look at things at social media and they think, oh, this person has everything. That person has all the things that I need to be happy. Or I didn't even know that existed, but now that I know, I need that to be happy.
Right.
And my father used to say, because I grew up in Brooklyn, and so we lived on a block. And my father.
No way, with that accent?
You can't tell.
I hear you. I love Brooklyn.
My father used to say, if everybody on the block threw their problems out in the street, and we all went out there to pick problems, we'd come back with our own. Because when we saw the crap that other people were dealing with, we go, oh, my problems aren't so bad. I'll take those back.
Yeah.
Social media totally derails people's opinions of their own lives when they try to juxtapose their lives against someone else's.
Right.
So it's really tough.
Your father's, that's
what's that?
I just don't think comparing ourselves with others is never a way to happiness, right?
So talk about, when did you decide to become the happiness warrior? When did you become the guy who wanted to help everybody else be happy?
Well, it's really funny because a few years. I'm a hard worker. I have plans. When I start a business, I started two businesses that most people think I'm nut job when I started, and they're 10 years later, they're very successful. But I went to a period after I had my recovery. I was trying to build my life back again. I worked in a warehouse for a while. Did a lot of things, minimum wage. And then I got into personal training and started really learning how my body works and all that. And then when I became an entrepreneur, that's all I did. I mean, I love work. I love working. I love building businesses and like all that. So I sort of lost my creativity. I sort of lost my. I couldn't even think about writing anything. Now I write every day, but back then I was like, all my life is building myself up, getting a solid foundation, building my, making sure I don't have to rely on anyone. I can take care of myself and take care of others and take care of my family now too. And so it became that. I became sort of dead in my spirit as far as my creativity, and like I felt kind of, even though I was successful, I felt kind of trapped. So then I was like, okay, I need to get out of my shell. I've always been sort of an introvert at times, and I need to get out and be who I am in front of people. So I started going to conferences, I started going to seminars, things like that, to increase the people that I know, of course, and also just to increase my knowledge and my wisdom and everything else. And it went off. It was awesome. I had such a good time. And I met so many people, and I started my businesses improved too because I was out there more, and my confidence was all changed. Then I became a model in New York City for a while, and that's when I really became. I mean, it was a lot of rejection, but that's when I became my most confident because I was in New York City. I was like, I don't need to compare myself to anyone else. I'm a model in New York City. Where else? But it was the best of the best are here. That went along pretty well. And but I was all this stuff was happening and feeling really good, and then I started going to Miami. A lot of my business ideas have started in Miami, down in South Florida. The blue skies and the ocean was where I really think and create.
Yeah.
So both of my businesses started with a thought in Miami, and then I used Miami as I haven't used it for over a year, but I use it as a creativity spot for myself. It's a place where I'm happy in Florida. I like everything. I like how I feel there, and I always feel a lot of inspiration. So I was with my best friend, and it's one of those best friends that is always on your side. And he was sort of, and I had this kind of thing where everywhere I go, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy when I'm around.
Especially when the sun is out too. We're talking about
Florida. No, everywhere I go, anywhere in the world, everyone's always happy. People always remember. People always come out from a hotel or somewhere. Mr. North, I make people feel good about themselves because I see them. I see them, and I make them feel valuable. Everyone to me is valuable. Like you're saying, the happiest person can have nothing, but the person that has nothing, that's working really hard, can be someone that I really deeply care about, and I really care about everything about them. So my friend was like, he was sort of overwhelmed by how a crowd I drew everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, there was always someone, there's always a bunch of people trying to talk to me. And he said, you know what you are? And I said, what am I? He says, you're a motivational speaker. Because everywhere you go, people remember you. They want to share stories with you when they see you again. They want to tell you one thing that you told them that changed their lives, and they want to share that with me. So that went along, and then I went back to New York, and my agent was like, okay, I really need you to get to TV. You have a really good look right now. I need you to grow a little beard, and that sells right now. And we're all set. We did a bunch of kickoff things for TV, and then March of 2020 hit, and everything shut down. Of course, New York shut down. It was late September. They opened up again, and at that point, I had spent the summer taking care of my dad. I did a lot of stuff for him. It was getting hard for him to take care of himself, and I was kind of exhausted from that. It was a great experience getting to know him a lot better than I ever had in my life, actually. But I was exhausted. I was kind of burned out from all that, and it was a lot of family stuff. And I said, okay, I'm ready for TV now. It just hit me in my head. I said, I'm ready. I got to make this happen. And the only way to make things happen is to believe in yourself and to feel your intention. My intention was, I'm going to be on the Today Show next year. I'm going to do this. And I started putting these things together in my head. And then I called my agent, and she was kind of an agent that she wasn't quite getting who I was. And you need to kind of get me a little bit too. But she did one amazing, I love her. She did one amazing thing. And she hooked me up with a publicist. And a publicist who really understands how to create a brand and how to create me, basically. So we talked on my front porch in this bright sun for an hour, and he said, "You are the happiness warrior." And as he said, he says, "You're the happiness warrior. That's what you are." And he says, "I'm getting chills right now because it makes me feel like this is really powerful. This is going to be really something." And as soon as he said it, I said, "That's what I've been looking for. That's what I've been looking for." It was just that perfect synchronicity in our thoughts. And so it took me a little while to kind of live as the happiness warrior. Now I have to be I'm the happiness warrior now. At first I was like, well, what kind of right do I have to be the happiness warrior? And I have to give myself permission. So once I gave myself permission, a little talk with myself, I went fully into it. And now it's just like, it's who I am. It's who I am. And I have a mission. I have I have things I want to do in life. And I want to really just, we can't change the world we can change the world a lot by being happier, but we have so much going on in this world. It's getting to a point where it needs to stop. There needs to be something that just kind of sets us back a little bit and says, let's take a deep breath and stop hating each other. Let's start trying to, let's be glad we're alive. Okay. Some of us are very fortunate to be alive. I know I am.
That's true. That's true. I want to take our first commercial break. When we come back, sure. I want you to give my audience 3 steps or more, if you want, to being happier tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new leaf. It's a new page. Okay. It hasn't hit you yet. So we're going to do that when we come back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Super Human.
All right.
Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? The rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor, strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon. Happiness. TaylorMade Health is focused on making sure you're able to perform and look your best. They are a leader in game-changing supplements and cosmetic products. Whether you want to increase strength, expedite recovery, facilitate soft tissue repair, or reduce deep wrinkles, TaylorMade Health has you covered. TaylorMade Health is also the home to Dr. Seed's products such as BPC, BPC Plus, and the Chill Pill. All of my listeners can now get 20% off their first order with code TRY20. That's TRY20. This code can even be used on subscription orders. Visit shrnetwork.biz/try20 today and use code TRY20 for 20% off your first order. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ad today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where brawn and brains finally meet.
Welcome back. We're talking with Eric North. He is the happiness warrior, and if he has anything to do with it, you're going to be happier tomorrow, or he's going to be upset with you. Really, I'm a firm believer that a good workout starts today for tomorrow. A good day tomorrow starts today. A good workout tomorrow starts today. What can people do to set up that tomorrow is a happy day for them?
Okay. First of all, I believe in saying things out loud. Okay, so I believe in affirming things out loud so that you hear it. Okay, so first thing is give yourself permission to be happy. Okay, that's a big one. It's a lot one we don't think about very often. Okay, but give yourself permission to be happy. You're worth it. Okay, then you can figure out how to get there from there. Number 2, start every morning with a daily affirmation. Just tell yourself it's going to be a great day. Tell yourself something or whatever you want to say to yourself. But you can say the same thing every day that will set you up for a great day. Okay. Number 3 is connect your body with your mind. I think that's a really big one too. We need to stretch. We need to use our bodies. We need to learn how to breathe. Learning how to breathe better and making that connection between everything. All our emotions are sometimes even triggered like with pains in our body too. So think about that. Your body is worth taking care of, okay? Our bodies are beautiful. They're worth taking care of, and they can always get better, okay? We just take care of them. Help others feel happy. Okay, try to make someone else happy today. That's a big thing. I want to go out. I leave the house when I leave the house. I always say to myself, I like everyone. I like everyone. When I say I like everyone, it opens my world up to so much more than if I just feel like I don't. I hear it all the time.
Well, I want to stay with something you just said, because I think this is a very powerful one. There's an old saying: you can't help someone up a hill without getting up that hill yourself.
Right.
And I think if people focused on making other people happy, they would be happy, because if I tell you I love you, you really don't feel it. But if I feel the love for you, I can feel it. The hair on the back of my neck could stand up, my heart could race. So love rewards the person doing it, not the person you're extolling the love onto. So I'm a big fan of what you just said. You have to make other people happy if you intend to be happy in this life.
If you can't make other people happy, if you don't, making other people happy is the secret to happiness. It's just helping, and really, this goes back for thousands. I'm not making anything new here, but service to others is the path to happiness. Serving others is, and that's one of my other things here. Add value in all of add value in your actions when you go out in the world, and when you add value, everything and it's just not for, you add value to other people. That's great. That's a good thing, but you also add value to yourself. And you can't, the more we take care of ourselves and feel good about ourselves, the better we can serve in the world too. And that's what's important, I think. And then the last thing for that though, too, and this is another thing, and then sometimes I do fall asleep, and I'll be honest, most nights I will have like a little reckoning with myself for the day. And I'm just getting ready to go to sleep. And I'm tired. When I go to bed, I'm done. I've had a long day. But I tell myself, hey, I started my day off well. It was a great day. So I say, hey, I did my best today. I can do better tomorrow. I can always do better tomorrow. Just like you said, Carl, we can always do better right now. We can do better tomorrow, but we did our best today. So, it's just little things, but they can really, all these things, these are things I care about sharing with people. I think it can make such a big difference in someone's life.
So now give me an example of when shit happens, right? You did your affirmations, you launched into the day, you're helping people, and something unforeseen, something that you really don't want to happen, happens. How do you work with that, and how do you stay on track with your mission to be happy?
Well, first of all, it's an external event. I didn't cause it, or maybe I did cause it, whatever, but now I have to take care of it. And what I do to make myself happy, and I learned this from my husband, he's also a source of he's like my guru sometimes, and it is make life a game. Life is a game. It's going to be hard sometimes. A game is you can play checkers all day long. It's going to be fun, but it's not going to give you a lot of challenge. You're going to have to challenge yourself. And challenges to me are opportunities to learn. So, of course, I've had some things hit me in my business that just all of a sudden, just boom, my heart would stop almost. And I just have to say to myself, okay, I may not get a lot of sleep tonight, but tomorrow morning I'm going to be able to tackle this much better, and I'm going to get it done. It's not going to be as bad as I think it's going to be. I'm playing games with myself because we put up all our negative self emotions as soon as we get hit by something. So take the personalization out of it is what I do. It's just not personal, and that way I'm more rational. I don't react too quickly, and the best advice I have so many good people give me advice over the years. The best advice is another old saying: every problem has a solution. And that was my column last week, by the way. I wrote a column about that.
Where did you write it? Where can people find it?
I wrote it. I can send you the link for it. It's on the the international AP. It's kind of hard to find first.
So at a very young age, in my early 20s, I read the book "I'm Okay, You're Okay" at the advice of a therapist I was seeing when I lived in Las Vegas. And what I learned from that book was very powerful. If you judge people, then you're creating a box that you have to live in. So if I judge something, then I may come to a point in my life where I have to do that in order to stay healthy, to stay alive, to do the right thing. But because I judge somebody, I've restricted my options. How much, let me rephrase this. highly judgmental people typically more miserable than people who are not judgmental?
Of course they are. Of course they are. They're always trying to prove something. They're always trying to prove themselves to someone else. I think it's insecurity. There's a difference between criticism that's constructive and well done. Also, criticism can be laid down very gently. It doesn't have to be so harsh. Okay, so there's a way to do. I think there's a way to talk about anything to anyone to make them more comfortable and get it. Okay, so. But I think someone who's very judgmental to me is a sort of tiresome person, really. I mean, I get bored, okay, and I'm just like, okay, and I can say I am really big about we need to free ourselves from shame, and that comes from judgment, okay, and judging others is you're always wrong. How do you know? So
Yeah, right.
You're always wrong. It's natural. We're humans. Like we're natural for us to protect ourselves, though, too. So,
a large part of changing your life is the people around you. You can choose your friends, and you can choose new friends, and that happens. But what happens when the partner you have is they're afraid of your changing? They like you the way you are. I don't mean a person who's overtly abusive, but like I was married and I was 330 pounds, and my goal to lose weight and get healthy actually fractured my relationship because my wife liked me better when I was that fat guy. So what do you do when you decide I'm going to be happy, I'm going to change my life, but your partner's not on board with it and is actually trying to sabotage you without realizing it? What do you do?
I see that all the time in my business too, in my hormone clinic. That I see one partner is on the hormones and feeling wonderful and looking great and doing everything and full of life, and the other partner is tearing them down. And then they usually end up quitting because they want to save the relationship. And then you're always going to have that kind of. It's not a healthy way to live, but. And I'm very fortunate in my marriage that was never been the case. And I say that to myself all the time. I'm so grateful because I do some pretty wild things. It's not like being married to a conventional sort of safe person. I take risk in my life because I've taken risk in my life. I know how to take risks now that are calculated, but they're not for someone who can't handle being married with me because it's going to be a little rough at times. But I think that. You're in a really bad place when your partner doesn't support you. Okay, so I almost advocate, depending on the situation, I advocate for. I look at my grandmother's life. My grandmother should have been a doctor. She was very smart. She was born in 1915. She went to like a private girls' college and got a 2-year education. And she got married, and my grandfather didn't want her to work, and she just raised kids, and she was always bored. I could just tell that. She was an optimistic, great person, but I could tell in the back of her eyes that she would just look out the window for a few hours, okay, and just sit there all day, and she was just done. And I think she did it all. She gave up all of her own dreams because she knew her husband wouldn't let her have that life. And that was a different time period, but it still goes on today. We still have those relationships like that. And if you want to live your life, and you have to tell yourself, it's very complicated because people have kids, they have families, they have homes, they have businesses together. Since I think it's just a matter of you just got to make the choice for yourself and do it. And if you don't take action and just see how my advice would always be to follow your dreams and take action. That's always going to be my advice, no matter what, for anyone. Okay, and if your partner loves you, they will adjust. You will adjust. I'm going through a lot of change in my availability at home. I'm going to be traveling a lot. I'm doing a lot of live taping on TV in Los Angeles and New York. I'm not going to be home very much with 2 dogs, and so there's a lot going on. But we've talked about it, and we've said it. Everything, we will figure this out as we go along because we trust each other. I think.
Do you ever get confronted with isn't what we have enough? Do you ever get confronted with that? Like, why do you need all that stuff?
No, because if you knew me, you would never say that to me. Okay, it's not about. You would never say it. If you know me really well, you would be. Most of my friends are never surprised by me because they're always like, "Oh my God, what are you doing now?" And I'm always doing something because I want to change things. I want to make the world a better place. That's my goal, and just my part in it is and I want to help others create that feeling for themselves that I have. It's really what I want, or others to create that sense of empowerment for themselves. And that means, yes, if you have a problem with your relationship, and just go for it anyway, because you're going to have to, and you're going to have to at one point or another.
And obviously you can have dialogue and you can say, these are the things I really want to do. I want you to come with me.
Right.
That's a nice thing. That's a nice thing to look. I love you. I don't want this to become a fracture, but these are things I want. And who doesn't want to be happier? Why wouldn't you want to be happier? Come with me. Let's try this together.
Right. We just had that discussion yesterday. It was kind of funny. It's kind of mirroring one of our discussions. Is I was kind of putting it out. I put a lot of things out in the world that I want to do, and I said I want to be on this particular person's talk show. And my husband doesn't care about going anything else with me. I travel on my own for business. He goes, I'm coming with you when you do that. Okay.
Yeah. There
you go. Yeah, and then it'll be so much fun. We'll have a really fun, fun trip, for a couple of days. So
I'm going to take a last commercial break. When we come back, we have some questions we're going to go to. Okay.
Great.
All right. Sit tight. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio.
All right. Talk to you.
As a listener of this show, you know how important your gut is to your overall health. Bioptimizers has a potent product to heal and repair your gut unlike anything else. It's called Leaky Gut Guardian. It's powered by patented IGY Max, an egg-based protein that enhances gut health, reverses antibiotic damage, and strengthens your immune system. Available in 2 delicious powders, vegetarian vanilla and chocolate carnivore. Simply mix it with your favorite beverage. Repair your gut and power up your immune system risk-free and save 10% off. Go to shrnetwork.biz/leaky gut. Don't delay. Fix your gut today. The power of light can be truly life-changing and an important element for every superhuman. Because of this, I want you to experience the power of award-winning Saluma light therapy. Saluma utilizes NASA research technology to improve health at the cellular level and is cleared by the FDA to effectively treat a variety of pain, muscle, and joint conditions, as well as facial wrinkles and acne. Our entire team here at Superhuman Radio uses it. Its innovative shape-taking design allows for easy placement anywhere on the body. Choose from 13 different models. For an exclusive listener discount, go to shrnetwork.biz/Saluma. That's CELLUMA. And use code SHR10 to save 10% off of one of these award-winning devices. Are you ready to change the way you age? Of course you are. That's why you're here. Juvicel is a new first-of-its-kind dietary supplement that includes 10 key research-backed ingredients shown in studies to support lifespan. Things like resveratrol, fisetin, quercetin, pterostilbene, sulforaphane, turmeric, all in a single dose. You may have some of these ingredients already, but Juvicel is the first to combine them all into a single product to support your lifespan. It's vegan, non-GMO, and sustainable. Live better longer with Juvicel. Go to shrnetwork.biz/live better. Use code SHR and save 20% off today. Happiness.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
This is the Superhuman Channel. Evolution just got kicked up a notch.
We're gonna work through some questions. I haven't really read them yet, so I'm gonna have to read them on the fly. And okay, so
Yes.
Brett Oster is a friend of the show, and he literally recently went through a similar situation that you went through with his partner a few months ago that you did 20 years ago. He said, Eric, did you ever realize, you have come to the realization that and this is the other part, narcissistic codependent person was the problem? But I don't know who he means. Was that your partner he's saying was the narcissist? I don't know.
I think he means the partner. So the partner that I was with was a very narcissistic. I didn't even put those words out there myself, but he's right on point. Narcissistic, codependent person. That was the situation. Of course, that was the problem. And and also you have to think about: is your partner also does he or she have the qualities of a sociopath, which is usually very charismatic, sexual, exciting. A lot of things that attract us to this person are things that this person's attracted. A lot of people are attracted to this person as well. So it can be, yes, he was the problem, but my problem was that I was under sway very easily. It was easy for me to fall for that.
The other question he has is when we get to the question and answer, I'd like to know from straight past, I don't know what that means, to having your own business pay off in the long run. And he followed up with, more precisely, are business owners happier than working warriors?
Yes, absolutely. I think, for me, it was, I want to create as much freedom in my life as possible. And freedom's impossible, but I want to create a life where I have more freedom. So I did the entrepreneur thing for many years where I sort of lost my creativity and I worked 60-hour weeks. But my goal was to not do that eventually. I had a plan that I would have employees that were trained and they were empowered to do a lot of my job. And I've reached that point now. So I'm much happier now. I'm able to have two businesses that I can have people running them 7 days a week, and I can go off and do this now and do what I'm doing with my life now. So yeah, it's a little scary at times, and you have to really be strong. And there's times when I how am I going to pay the mortgage? But I always, if you worry about problems 3 or 4 months down the line, they're not going to be the same problems 3 or 4 months down the line. So
right.
Every problem has a solution. You just keep plugging away, and you have to be realistic too.
But the other thing that I would say about being a business owner is a lot of people are under the illusion that if you own your own business, it's like money just falls out of the sky. And,
No.
and you don't have to, oh, well, you can make your own hours. They say, yeah, I can make my own hours, 16 of them a day. It's like, I don't get to go, oh, it's 5 o'clock. I'm done. I'm out of here.
Oh, no.
I can't call in sick because there's nobody that's going to. So I think that the freedom comes with responsibility, but most people see responsibility as a burden. I see it as a wonderful thing because that means that I can alter my outcome.
Well, that means I'm in control of I'm in control of my destiny, and everything is every problem is my responsibility. Even when I'm not, even when my employees are working, my managers are working. Ultimately, everything is my responsibility, and you don't make. I started my businesses very organically with very little with very little cash. $20,000 in each of them as initial investment. So, and that was all the money I had in the world at the time. It was a lot, and I had to just keep plugging away at it. And once I really just figured out the right discipline and the right way to just sort of hold it all together, I was able to be successful at it. But so many people start businesses with the idea that they're going to get rich right away. It's going to be easy street. And everything's just going to be fine. And you don't realize out of that $1 you make, 90 cents of that 80 cents of that can be on taxes and salaries and business expenses. So
right.
It's an uphill battle, but it's worthwhile.
Every overnight success took 5 to 10 years to become an overnight.
Right. Well, I look at my clinic now, and I think how successful it is now, and how well known it is compared to where it was 10 years ago when I started. Of course, it was a very different thing.
So real quick before we end the interview, tell people about your clinic. Tell people about your businesses, where they're located. So if anybody listens to the podcast or watches it on YouTube, can walk in and say hello to you.
Okay, well, right now I'm based in Washington, D.C. That was where I was raised, and it's my hometown. And I have two businesses that I started. Both of them, my goal in life is when I have a business or I have something that I'm doing is to help people live better, to feel better. So the first business is Performance Rejuvenation Center. I started that in 2011. It's anti-aging medicine with a holistic approach. Okay, so we're doing holistic hormone therapy and growth hormone peptides. It's really amazing. We do a lot of very vibrant people going there, very strong people going there, a lot of high achievers, a lot of Navy SEALs and people like that, and SWAT team members. It just sort of helps your performance and helps you just live life better. And then the other one is StretchWorks, and that we have 5 locations in Maryland and DC. And what you do is it's practitioner-assisted stretching. So you go in, you just wear your gym clothes or your jeans, get on a massage table for an hour. You have someone professionally stretch you in a way that you can't stretch yourself.
That's fascinating.
Stretch your body, stretch your mind. It's a mind. If you want to, first thing is someone who doesn't really have a really good mind-body perception or connection is to get on a stretching table with a professional person to stretch you, and you'll really kind of learn how everything's connected and how this pain here can be caused by an injury down your ankle. So that is a way the stories of people just standing straight for the first time in their life. These are all businesses. My businesses transform lives. It's a big thing to say, but you go in there with an open mind, we will take good care of you, and we will fix things and help you thrive.
So if anybody's listening to the show right now and they'd like to open up a StretchWorks in their neighborhood or their town, can they get in touch with you somehow?
Yes, they can. They're for sure. We're not franchising, but we can always look at opportunities. Opportunities is something that we can discuss. So,
how would they reach you?
They can reach me at my
Does StretchWorks have a website? Does StretchWorks have a website?
Yeah, we have websites for StretchWorks and for Performance Rejuvenation Center. The website is for Performance Rejuvenation Center is www.prcindcprcndc.com, and then StretchWorks is www.stretchworks with a Z at the end. Stretchworks with a Z.com.
Yeah. I mean, because I got to be honest with you. I don't go get massages anymore because they always leave me feeling like I just wasted an hour.
But it's not enough.
Not. But I could see me getting on a table and let somebody stretch me.
Oh, you would love it. You would love it. It so suits you. I can tell. I don't know much. I don't know you that well, but I can tell by your life. That would be something that would probably do be really good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Stretching, you release a lot of inner pain too. You release a lot of turmoil in your head when you're getting stretched. I've cried before when I'm doing a stretch session. So I just released something that was bothering me for a long time. So
yeah, fascinating. Eric,
I also have a website for Happiness Warrior. It's thehappinesswarrior1.com. So
okay, that website is Happiness Warrior.
The Happiness Warrior, just like on my title, thehappinesswarrior1.com.
1 O-N-E, not the number 1, right?
1.
Okay,
very good. The number 1, right?
Hey, thank you so much for making time to be on the show today.
Oh no, thank you. I was really excited. I'm really excited. I was excited. I'm excited all week for it. Okay, so it was great meeting you, Carl. And hey,
have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you. Bye.
And that's it for this week, folks. That's the last show in the books. We have shows on Monday. I don't know what they are, but I know that Elisa Profumo works very diligently to come up with great content for this show. I just show up and ask questions. She does all the thinking part. Hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Remember, share the show. You may help someone you don't even know that they need help. So, all right, see you next week. Thanks.